A world ruled by darkness, where vampires are at the top of the food chain, and only one man stands in their way. Today, we're diving into a cult classic, Vampire Hunter D, a film that blends gothic horror, sci-fi, and action in a way that still holds up today. This film is an absolute classic of the 80s, and if you've never seen it, or if it's been a while, here's everything you need to know before watching. We'll go over the origins of the story, the novel series, the incredible world building, the gothic horror elements, and of course, the mysterious and powerful protagonist, D himself. Let's get started. Vampire Hunter D is one of those rare anime films that started as a novel before making its way to the screen. It was first published in 1983, written by Hideyuki Kikuchi and illustrated by legendary Yoshitaka Amano. If that name sounds familiar, it's because Amano is famous for his ethereal and dreamlike artwork, especially for the Final Fantasy series. His work helped give Vampire Hunter D a distinct visual identity right from the start. The novel was an instant success in Japan, blending gothic horror with post-apocalyptic sci-fi, and it became one of the earliest and most successful light novel series ever. It has over 30 volumes to date and is still highly regarded among fans of dark fantasy and horror. The story was different from traditional vampire tales because it combined elements of horror, westerns, and futuristic sci-fi into one eerie and surreal world. The first animated adaptation of Vampire Hunter D was released in 1985, directed by Toyo Ashida. It was one of the first anime films to make an impact in the West, paving the way for later dark fantasy anime like Berserk and Hellsing. While it was a lower budget production compared to later anime films, it still managed to capture the eerie and haunting atmosphere of the novels. One of the things that sets Vampire Hunter D apart from other vampire stories is its unique setting. It takes place in the year 12,090 AD, in a distant future where human civilization has collapsed due to nuclear war. In the ruins of what was once Earth, vampires, known as the nobility, rule over the surviving human population. These vampires aren't just undead creatures hiding in castles, they are powerful, intelligent beings who have mastered both magic and advanced technology. The world itself is a bizarre fusion of medieval horror and futuristic dystopia. You have crumbling gothic castles, cybernetic horses, mutants, and giant futuristic structures all existing in the same universe. This blending of different genres makes Vampire Hunter D feel unlike anything else. One moment you're in what looks like a 15th century vampire stronghold, and the next you're dealing with high-tech energy weapons and genetic experiments. The story of the 1985 film. The plot of the movie follows a young woman named Doris Lang who lives on the outskirts of a small town. One day, she is attacked and bitten by Count Magnus Lee, a powerful and ancient vampire noble. In this world, being bitten by a noble means one thing, and that is that you are marked to become his bride. Doris refuses to accept her fate, so she seeks out a vampire hunter to protect her. That's when she meets D, a mysterious and incredibly powerful hunter who agrees to help. D isn't just any vampire hunter, he's a dhampir, a rare half-human, half-vampire hybrid. This gives him extraordinary strength, agility, and the ability to go toe-to-toe with the nobility. As D takes on Count Lee and his monstrous minions, he encounters a variety of threats, including mutants, werewolves, and even living shadows. The film takes us on a dark and atmospheric journey through eerie castles, desolate wastelands, and violent battles. Along the way, we start to learn more about D's origins and why he is so feared by vampires. D is one of the most intriguing characters in anime history. He is quiet, stoic, and incredibly powerful, but there's also a tragic side to him. As a dhampir, he's caught between two worlds. Humans fear him because of his vampire blood, and the nobility despises him because he hunts them. This results in him being an outsider no matter where he goes. This theme of isolation runs through the film and the entire Vampire Hunter D series. D has all the abilities of a vampire. immortality, superhuman strength, and regenerative powers, but he refuses to give in to his bloodthirsty nature. Instead, he dedicates his life to destroying the creatures that gave him life in the first place. Another fascinating aspect of D is his left hand. It's not just a normal hand, it has a face, a mind of its own, and even supernatural abilities. This parasitic entity provides some of the only moments of comic relief in the film, as it constantly talks to D, making snarky remarks and giving him advice. But it's also a powerful ally, capable of absorbing energy attacks and detecting hidden threats. One of the best things about Vampire Hunter D is its horror elements. The film is packed with disturbing and surreal imagery, from grotesque mutants to monstrous creatures lurking in the dark. In many ways, it feels like a precursor to Castlevania, especially with its gothic castles, powerful vampire overlords, and a lone warrior battling the forces of darkness. The eerie landscapes, bloodthirsty creatures, and even the mix of medieval and futuristic elements feel like something that could easily exist in the Castlevania universe. If you love that kind of dark, atmospheric storytelling, Vampire Hunter D is right up your alley. Count Magnus Lee himself is a terrifying villain. He's over 10,000 years old, and his design is heavily inspired by classic vampire imagery, tall, imposing, with glowing red eyes and a deep commanding voice. But he's not the only threat in the film. His castle is filled with all sorts of horrors, including his sadistic daughter, Larmika, who despises humans and sees Doris as an unworthy bride. There's also Rei Ginzei, a powerful mutant who serves as one of D's main adversaries. He has the ability to control weapons telekinetically and serves as a formidable obstacle in D's mission to protect Doris. The sequel, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. If you enjoy the original Vampire Hunter D, you absolutely need to watch Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which released in 2000. Directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri, the same mind behind Ninja Scroll, this sequel took everything from the original and elevated it to another level. The animation is stunning, with breathtaking gothic landscape and fluid action sequences. The story is also more complex, following D as he takes on a mission to track down a young woman who has seemingly been kidnapped by a vampire noble. But as the story unfolds, we learn that things aren't as black and white as they seem. Many fans consider Bloodlust to be one of the greatest vampire anime films ever made, and it's widely regarded as one of the best adaptations of Kikuchi's novels. It captures the dark, tragic beauty of the Vampire Hunter D universe in a way that few films have managed. So is Vampire Hunter D worth watching today? Absolutely. It's a unique mix of gothic horror, sci-fi, and action that still holds up decades later. Whether you're a fan of vampire stories, post-apocalyptic worlds, or dark fantasy, this film has something for you. The 1985 film might feel a bit dated in its animation and pacing if you're not used to anime from the 80s, but its atmosphere, story, and eerie soundtrack make it a must-watch. And if you want an even better experience, Bloodlust is there to take it to the next level. If you've already seen Vampire Hunter D, let me know in the comments what's your favorite scene. Do you think it deserves a modern remake? And if you haven't watched it yet, now is the perfect time to experience this gothic anime classic.